United States Farm and Ranch Alliance. Has anyone heard of identity theft? This is what has occurred. I mean, these big corporations that are controlling agriculture, controlling production, processing, and distribution in agriculture today feel threatened by this little old OCM and RCAF and many other smaller groups that have started around the country to really combat the whole NCBA and their friends' capture of our industry and our food system. And so, in thinking about the more pressure we apply, the more resistance we face, this is what we get, is the United States Farmers and Ranchers Alliance, which is the alliance of the biggest food corporations in the world coming together to deceive consumers into thinking that they are the real farmers and ranchers and that they are producing the good food that their families should eat. So, John Hansen prepared a few things for us today, and I just want to run down through this presentation since John couldn't be here, as Fred described earlier. Since 1980, the U.S. has lost 42% of all beef producers, 91% of pork producers, 82% of dairy producers, and 33% of all sheep producers. This is the graph. This is the chart that presents those losses. Why did all these farmers and ranchers stop raising livestock? Were they forced out of business because of a lack of income caused by non-competitive ag markets? Was the compliance costs of meeting livestock waste regulations perhaps too high? Or, as USFRA claims, was it because of HSUS-driven livestock production standards? Since 1980, there has been a dramatic shift in livestock ownership, more corporate ownership of livestock, more meat packer ownership of livestock, more indirect meat packer ownership and control of livestock, more vertical integration of livestock, proliferation of CAPOs, confined animal feeding operations, massive consolidation of cattle, hog, and sheep meat packing, local and neighbor opposition to large CAPOs because of water quality, air quality, and smell. Local, state, and national media coverage of conflicts between mostly corporate CAPOs and local residents. Local, state, national media coverage of concerns about water contamination of CAPOs. Local, state, national media coverage of concerns about animal production methods used by some CAPOs, including gestation crates for hogs, battery cages for chickens, and tail docking for dairy cows. Since 1980, growing consumer concerns about where the food they consume comes from and how it is produced. The growing consumer concern about livestock production practices has been directly proportional to the corporate takeover of traditional, independently owned and operated family farmer and rancher livestock production. Ag marketing reforms and ag livestock ownership structure. Common links between these two issues. Never before have markets been so concentrated and consolidated. Never before has so much wealth and power been in so few hands. Even in the days of the robber barons 100 years ago was wealth this concentrated. Today, these common links include the same ag market players that dominate both issues. Same shared economic interests, same worldview of food production, same use of public affairs management firms. They have their mouthpieces everywhere. They pay them. They have all the money. They can own Congress. They can own the media. They can own what you read and have access to. Same use of money to influence elections. Same approach to influencing laws and legislation. Same approach to influencing regulation. While the meat packers fight over market share, they work together for their common interests. They cooperate rather than compete. We know this from Hughes Bagley, former VP of IBP back in the 70s. Harvard School of Business came in and did a study for IBP while Hughes was a VP for IBP. Their mission was, how can IBP be more profitable? How can IBP be more efficient? The result of that study was this: cooperate, don't compete. Your competitors are too big. By competing, you will cost yourself profit. Same approach to influencing regulation. While they fight for market share, they in fact do work together. In fact, I used to go to NCBA meetings and used to witness them, the packers, talking as as they normally do anyway during the week. Circle the wagon, the corporate response is this. Circle the wagons of the corporate ag supporters form the U.S. Farmers and Ranchers Alliance, create a false threat to all agriculture that can be used to misdirect the focus and attention of consumers while appealing to the fears and prejudices of farmers and ranchers to justify the creation of the United States Farmers and Ranchers Alliance. What did Abraham Lincoln say after the war? Abraham Lincoln said, as a result of the war, corporations have been enthroned. They have unprecedented power. They will work on the prejudices of the people until all wealth is in their hands. The prejudices of the people. You know, you're not supposed to like HSUS. That's what NCBA has been telling us for years. That is what MPPC has been telling us for years. Working on the prejudice of the people, we will keep them divided and we will conquer them, and all wealth will be in a few hands. Include the agribusiness players. They include the livestock commodity organizations, NCBA, NPP, etc. They include as many ag-related and ag organizations as possible: Farm Bureau, National Corn Growers Association, American Soybean Association, basically those who are in favor of and profit from industrial agriculture, as opposed to conventional and traditional family farm agriculture. Industrial agriculture, and these boys have been around about 40 years now. Fairly new model for food production and distribution. They hire the top quality public relations firm to poll consumers about their concerns, develop a process of engagement with consumers to put their issues of concern on the table within a controlled format, so a unified message can be used to answer the consumer concern. Pink slime. What was their response to pink slime? Well, it's a good thing. You should eat it. Well, what about the anhydrous ammonia that's in the pink slime? Well, you should eat it too. But well, really, it's not even in the final product. Then why does it smell so bad? Richard, why does it smell so bad? I can smell the ammonia. I'm a farmer. I know what ammonia smells like. Well, it's really not in there. That's your imagination. You know, it's a good thing. You know, Eldon Ross made a lot of money and let him buy National Beef when it was for sale from farmland, you know, and he helped out that USPD group and all that stuff, you know. It's really interesting, some of the answers they come up with. Utilize all forms of the media to spread and repeat a consistent and uniform message. This is marketing. It's what corporate America with Wall Street has been very, very good at, and what New York PR firms have been very, very good at, is mentally condition the people of the United States to continue to be consumers of their information and their products. Use farmers and ranchers whenever possible to answer the consumer and public concerns about corporate livestock ownership and production issues. Use farmers and ranchers. Richard Oswald's face, Cap Dirk's face, my face, ranchers around the country, Chris Peterson's face, to make them look like farmers and ranchers. Use farmers and ranchers' own checkoff monies and organizational monies to, as much as possible, to finance the corporate response to corporate agricultural issues. Again, going back to what Bill and Dudley have said, they are using our own checkoff dollars, our producer dollars, paid we have no choice but to pay that money in, and in fact are using those dollars against us to promote industrial agriculture, which essentially enslaves us as independent producers. Use farmers and ranchers as much as possible to put the friendly, smiling face before consumers to answer their concerns resulting from the corporate takeover of traditional livestock production. Our response: seek and tell the truth, however convenient that might be, however inconvenient that might be. Seek the truth and seek justice. Build broad-based coalitions with players of common interests. We're 0.7%. Producers, farmers, and ranchers are 0.7% of the population of the United States. We have no voice. Who are our friends? People who eat. People who want to eat healthy food and be healthy. People who think communities are a good thing. And communities in particular around farmers and ranchers. And those farmers and ranchers are paid a sufficient income to care properly for livestock and for the land. Develop our own game plan. Get the necessary resources and commitment to implement it. This is what we're doing with OCM, and you're going to hear a lot more about it throughout the day. We're excited. Never give up, never give up, never give up. Winston Churchill. Thank you. Thanks to John Hansen for this.